Hello and welcome to part 1 of how to construct a decent search string for medical databases. This is the first part of a series of videos I plan to make on search strings. I will keep the videos short on purpose because it can be a lot to digest. So in this first part, I will discuss first of all what is a search string, and then the first steps you have to take in starting to construct a search string. I will discuss the databases that are possible and where you best start from, and then I will briefly discuss the general architecture of a search string. So you might be thinking, why is she telling me all these things about search strings? What does she know? Here's a couple of things about me that could be relevant. So I was a student of neurolinguistics. I got my master's in neurolinguistics. Well, it's actually called psychopathology in Belgium, where I'm from, but I always call it neurolinguistics because it's easy to understand for people, and it's the gist of what I studied. I'm a PhD student currently in medicine, and I published a systematic review. You can find the link here. I'll also place it in the bio of this video so you can look it up. So I have done myself a lot of literature research, and that's why I know these things about literature searches. So first of all, what exactly is a search string? You have actually all seen and used a search string because you have used probably Google or another database, maybe Bing for the unfortunate of you. No, that's a joke. It's not true. No, I use Google. But it's a string of words, as the word says. It's something that you use to look up results in a database, to look up papers in this case. And ideally, a search string is like a fishing net. So it catches the fish that you want. If you want to find octopuses, your fishing net is just the right size to catch octopuses and to let the smaller fish and the bigger fish slip. So the hole should be not too small, not too big. You should catch all your relevant and not the irrelevant papers. That's what a decent search string is. Here you see an example of a search string as it was published in a real medical journal. You can find the DOI code at the left bottom of the screen if you want to look that up. But it doesn't really matter what the words are here exactly. What matters is the overall structure of the search string, because that's what we're looking at. So this is an example of what I want you to understand, to learn, to be able to construct. And we will go into more depth on this later, but for now it's just an example of a search string. So how do you start with a search string? This is maybe the hardest part, to start with the search string, the first steps. And it's very important steps because they determine a lot of how easy or how difficult your further steps will be. The most important one is, what is your research question? For example, this question could be, is Nutella good for people like me? This is a research question example. Then your second question would be, where do I go to find the answer on this question? We will see also later that there's a specific method to make a good research question, but I will keep that for later. Just good to know. For now, just remember that you need a research question. So then you go and look at what kind of database do I need to get results for this question. And for medical papers, you mainly go to medical databases. There are multiple, but the most important one, which is mainly used as a starting database, is PubMed. It's often chosen because it's one of the largest. It has only mostly peer-reviewed articles of medical journals, and it has a very nice interface to make your search string. So usually people start from there. They start with a strategy for PubMed, and then they translate it for other databases such as Sinal, Embase. You have those as well, but they are more specific. PubMed is more general, so I would start there. And so in our videos, we are also going to make first a PubMed search string, and then we're going to translate that one. So that's the method I'm going to follow. You can of course choose another database, but then I would suggest you look at the instructions for the other databases I'm going to make and not the following videos. So once you've chosen the database, we will choose PubMed. Then we will start to construct your search string for the database, because each database has certain rules for their search string to be constructed. So we will go and do that. I place an image here of a huge library, because actually you can see all these databases as a huge library actually. So PubMed is just a huge, enormous, ginormous library online, and you need to find what you're looking for in all these books. And luckily you have a very good secretary, which is the internet. So this is what PubMed looks like if you go to the PubMed website. The link you can find in the bio of this video, so you can click that, or you can go to Google and just enter PubMed and you will also go to the site and you will find it. So it looks just like Google. You have a search bar where you can search in it, and you can enter a word here and then you can click search. However, it's good to know that this is actually the baby version of PubMed. So this is the easy stuff. And okay, it's easy, so you can enter a word here, like for example Nutella or dementia, and you will get the papers with results, but it will not be very good. You will not be able to do a very good search. So instead, what we do, you go to the advanced section. So you click this word here, it says advanced, you click on advanced. And then we will go to the section of PubMed where you can make a very decent search string and make a very good search for the results you actually want. This is like going to the library and not just roaming on your own through the library, but asking the really old, really knowledgeable secretary of the library to find your book. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to ask for very specifically for our results. And if you click the advanced button, you will see this show up. And it looks a bit confusing at first, but let me talk you through it. So this is called the PubMed Advanced Search Builder. And it's what it says. It allows you to make an advanced search. And you can actually see that in the middle you have the main box. So query box, that's your main box. And then you have above that, add terms to the query box. That is something helpful, a little tool you can use to enter terms to your query box. You don't have to use that one, it's easy, but if you go through my videos, you will see that you can use it, but it's not very necessary. And then you have below that, you have history and search details, which gives you the results of your recent searches, and also it keeps them from you. So this is very useful because you can, first of all, see how many results there were in a search. You can use this, for example, to see if a search wasn't very good, because if you see result 0, then it didn't give you any results. Or if it gives too many, you also see that here. And you also can use your former searches, so it saves them for you. So that's very useful. And more about that later, but it's already good to know that what this history search detail box is for. It's a good reminder that if you want to save all of your searches permanently, you go and log in. You make an account on PubMed and you log in and you make sure to save your searches. Because if you erase your cookies or it's been too long, these search details are immediately erased, so they're not there forever if you're not logged in. So just to let you know. So now you know where to search. We are going to have a quick look first at the general structure of a search string, because I think that's very necessary to first be able to analyze another search string and know the structure of this language, so to say, before you start making one yourself. And I think that's very useful. So we'll start with that. First of all, there's this broad structure, the general structure of the search string. And then we have the detailed structure. That's another thing. It's like the outside of your house, the construction of your house, and then the decoration of the rooms. It's both necessary and it's both a bit different, and we will both look at it. We'll first look at the general structure. So here you see the search string I showed you earlier. And I want to invite you to look at this search string and see for yourself what is the general structure of this search string. What is the broad characteristic of this search string? What does it consist of in broad terms? So you see that here in this search strategy, what's actually characteristic for all search strategies is that there are different blocks. And that's the overall general strategy for a good search string. There are different blocks, and these different blocks relate to different concepts. You see here already that they actually named the blocks. They said, it's the population block, the intervention block, the comparison block, and the outcome block. What that means is, here, one block is reserved for the population, which is the people you want to investigate. So here, that's people who have a shunt in their heart, or a fistula, or a graft. And the intervention is computational fluid dynamics. I do not know what it means in any manner. But I'm just reading here, or in situ simulations, computation, calculations. So the authors of this paper wanted to see if there are computational fluid dynamics that can help people with those vascular problems. And they wanted to find a comparison. So that's a comparison block. That's what it's meant for. So compared to people who have stresses, or who have biomechanical forces, mechanical hemodynamic things. I don't know this paper exactly, so I'm also just reading what it says there. If you want to know more, definitely read this paper. The DOI is beneath it. And then the outcomes, what they're looking for is, what is the result for hyperplasia, the thickness of certain parts of the heart, the smooth muscle cell migration. Those are all the outcomes they were studying. And then they excluded the NOT for coronary pulmonary catheter, so they didn't want to have those parts of the heart, or they didn't want to have catheters in their studies. And then 6 just ties it all together. It says, I want to search for population and intervention comparison and outcomes. Now this may seem a bit like Chinese now, but it will become clearer in the next videos. It's just good to remind yourself that there are, in a general architecture of a search strategy, there are different blocks and they relate to concepts. And usually it's these concepts. So usually it's population, intervention, comparison, outcomes. Because this is actually a standardized method of coming to a search strategy, and it should also be reflected in your search question and in your research question. But later on that, in a next video, I will elaborate, because that's a whole nother topic. So this was the first part of how to make search strings. I hope this was helpful to you, and this provided a general understanding of a search string. Please refer to my other future videos for more information about this topic. Bye!